Welcome to the Curious Conversation Collaborative, a community for purpose-seeking entrepreneurs, leaders, and changemakers.
Listen to inspiring conversations with your hosts, inner leadership mentor Tessa Van Keken and business wealth coach Karen Ravel.
Right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are today. It's a new month, so it's a new theme for our Curious Conversation Collaborative podcast. And quite a bit has happened. A lot can change in just a few weeks. So this month we decided, with everything that's going on with Corona, we decided that our theme will be Your Business in Challenging Times. And at this moment in time, of course, Corona is what is causing a lot of challenges for a lot of people. But for us, we want these podcasts of this month. We want to really talk about your business in challenging times in general, not just Corona. So now it might be because of Corona that this is happening, but it could also be like a few years ago, we've had a recession and other things can happen. So how do you deal with your business? What do you do when challenging times are happening? And today we really want to talk about what it means to go online, because in the current times, of course, like with a lot of countries being in lockdown and offline meetings and happenings all being restricted, everyone, like whether you have a business or you're in work or even children, everyone is now noticing the impact of having to go online. So we wanted to talk about. And we do realize that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you also, one big element of that might be the whole issue around how do you sell, what do you sell, do you give things away, and all these other things. But we will talk about that in the next episode specifically because it's such a big thing. But today we really focus on the going online and what that means for you and your business. So, Karen, I'm really curious what you have to say about that.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, Tessa, because I don't know about you, but the majority of my work is online anyway. So in that terms, I haven't seen a huge shift. But just this week, I've attended several networking events, which normally I would be attending in person, offline, and they've all moved to online. And I think, that's just one example straight away of how businesses are changing what they're doing, because, where you may have originally had that in-person meetup, you can still be social, you can still connect with people. I mean, I don't know about where you are, but in the UK they're talking very much about this word social distancing. And I really don't like it, actually. I prefer physical distancing.
Yes, I agree.
We can still be social, and it's amazing how there's things that we take for granted because we like this, we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas for a lot of people, that's a new thing because their businesses or their work or their lifestyle is much more offline. So clearly, for a lot of people, moving to a pretty much online world, totally, it's a big challenge for them. And there's lots of things coming out of that, like having to learn certain technology. Like I say, how do you navigate that if and especially for businesses, if you've been a predominantly offline business, can you pivot in some way your business to either take your services online, or do you have to start looking at other opportunities or other niches or other mechanisms and that? So it can be quite a challenge at the moment. But I think
it's really interesting because for me, it's a bit like the same. Like a lot of my work would have been online, and like a lot of clients already, I would have worked with through like the things like that we are using now with Zoom and other platforms. So for me, as I said, the first week or so, I hardly noticed any difference.
Yeah.
Also in my personal life, because I work from home and I work online. So even the whole thing of not being able to go to work or so, I was like, well, nothing changes. This is my office. I'm always here. So it's very interesting how for a lot of people, they straight away notice a lot more impact from it than I would have. Also, I don't have kids. So I didn't suddenly have kids running around to the house, whereas I know some of my colleagues who are entrepreneurs, but then they noticed that they had to rearrange a lot of things because suddenly, the time that they normally would have to themselves when kids were in school, suddenly the kids were there all the time. So it's another way that you have to adapt. So there's all these challenges happening, I think, for this online thing. But as you said, there's also a lot of opportunities, and I would like to get back to that. But also, I think, and this is very interesting, there's really two elements, right? There's us as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, about us having to move things online if you hadn't already done that. But also there's the clients. Because beside my coaching work that already mainly was online, I also do a lot of offline work, in particular around meditation classes. I did them online as well, but I also did them physically, actually here locally. And I would have noticed always with clients, you had the people that were quite happy to do sessions online, and then there was the people that would have always been like, no, I don't like that. I want to have the physical contact. I want to be with other people. But now it's not allowed, and it won't be allowed here in the Netherlands till the 1st of June. So suddenly you also see with clients that before would have had a real reluctance to do anything online, that they suddenly go like, oh yeah, I don't want to wait that long before I start meditating again. So actually, let me try an online session. So I think there's these both sides. There is the business owner, but there's also to look at the other way around, that you can see how it has shifted for the people that we actually work with.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing that even outside the entrepreneurial world, in the corporate world, because I know people who, physically go into the office, and certain managers, leaders would say, oh, I can't trust people to be at home and working, but now they have to, so as long as they've got the technology at home to do that, they can do that. So I think this could be a real pivotal time for shaping how work is done in general going forward. And like you said, for us, I mean, this isn't a major change to our work, but I think for a lot of people it will be, and I think there will be a big shift coming out of this. So I think there could be a good opportunity for everyone going forward to be much more flexible around the way they work.
And I also think it's like, it's again, you mentioned the opportunity. So I think it forces a lot of us to look more creatively. Like as I said, I noticed that the online work I was doing, I kept doing that, and I offer my sessions and everything else, my coaching, my meditation. But then I actually, the offline meditation stopped. And it was only after the second session offline was canceled that I was like, actually, I should invite my offline clients to come online as well. I hadn't even, for myself, it was like, oh, I had actually forgotten that, because it was, when one gets canceled, you think, okay, well, one gets canceled, come to the next one. And then you think, oh, wait, actually, these people, they might actually really by now, although normally they prefer to do the offline stuff by now, they might actually want to come online. And maybe I create something for them if these are people, like some of them, they are a little bit like, oh, I don't know about all the technology. So maybe even to do a quick session where you just explain how this all works. I think that's also something, if you as a business owner are not used to the online stuff, then maybe talk to someone who has done online work before, so that you feel comfortable using this medium with your clients. But also, if you are used to the online stuff, but you have clients that are not used to it, maybe organize a session with those clients before you start doing the actual work with them, to just say, look, before we do this, I'll just run you through, so you're actually comfortable being online. So I think that can also really help.
And I think you're right about the creativity. I think there's the opportunity to think about doing your business in a different way, or maybe even finding a new niche or a different element. I mean, I was talking to someone, like I say, I was networking this week, someone who is a caterer, you know, does catering for parties, things like that. Work had all seized up, but now she's looking at baking cakes and selling them through an online portal that already exists. So it's just another way of looking at getting in, you know, some sort of cash flow and finding maybe even a new market, and who knows where that will lead to. You know, and like I said, just having these networking events, holding them online, was just as you know, productive, and you know, the connection there was still as good than it was traveling to an event where you need to actually take time to travel and you know, be in person. And I think this is a time where we can really look at technology to support us, rather than it being a drain on our time or adding to a burden of you know, technological build up. But I think we should really look at this as an opportunity to be creative, to look at different ways of working, and to really utilize technology, and maybe just also to take the time out if people really can't find a way to work now, is to actually take this time to invest in yourself and learn something new, you know, add to your own skill set, so for the future.
And I think as well, as I said, we're so lucky that we live in a time where there is ways to stay connected online. And I would like to say though, because I do think people really notice this, that as you said, with like a networking event and other things, most of it really can be done online. I noticed it also with the coaching, of course, I already did it, but also with healing and meditation, people really can feel also that connection and energy even online. At the same time, I do want to acknowledge and recognize that in the end, like the meeting like this online, it's not a complete replacement for the need for actual physical contact. And I don't even mean the hugs and the whatever, but even the actually physically being together with people in the long run, that is very, very important.
Absolutely.
And actually in the third episode, we were talking a little bit about that, like the issue with isolation and stuff, because it is true. Like in the end, if for the rest of our lives, this was all we had, we would actually feel physical and mental strain from it. But at the time, like right now, this is the way it is, and we have to limit our physical connection with people. I do think it's a huge opportunity to be able to, in this way, to still create that connection as much as possible.
Absolutely. Cool. Right. Well, that's great, Tessa. I think we'll leave it there for today. And next time we're going to talk a little bit more about money, selling, and because we're getting a lot of things coming up around what that means for people at this time. So until next time, we'll see you soon.
Definitely. And I just wanted to mention as well that, like, so that's next time, and then at the very end of this month we'll do a little special get together of people who are doing business online or have started the business online, and we want to bring together everyone as well to listen to each other, but also to bring in how they have been dealing with like this challenging time and what it has meant for you, and how you have creatively come up with opportunities and solutions. Because I think it's so important that we share this together as well.
Yeah.
So great to talk to you, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Did you enjoy this episode? Do share your thoughts and questions in the comments or send us a message.
Do you know someone else who'd be interested in our curious conversations? Please share and spread the word. You can find out more about us at KarenRavel.com
and TessaVanKeken.com. Tune in next week for another curious conversation.